I have wrestled with the idea that self-improvement, the want and the sort of need to progress in one's life is very difficult to distinguish, and what I mean by that is fairly simple. For some people that might look like improving your body and so on, and it usually starts from some sort of insecurity of you wanting to be a bit different from maybe where you're at right now. It might be because your parents separated, like that was the case for me, and me and my best friend like went separate ways, and that sort of opened my eyes to the world of revenge. And therefore I basically decided this is what I want to do with my life. And so over the past couple of years I've leaned into improving myself and creating a version of myself that I would feel would be more susceptible to what society expects from you. And I've been leaning in towards this a ton. Like, for example, I'm not a super extroverted person, as if like I don't really like talk to strangers if I meet somebody, or like I'm not the person who has to be the center of attention at all time, but I wouldn't describe myself as an introvert either. I'm just not the type of person who's super out there and always will initiate a conversation with people. But as of lately, I've actually shifted that a ton, and I've been talking to more people and trying to just initiate that a lot more. And especially that goes for my private life. And what has happened is basically I've gotten more comfortable being uncomfortable. And what I'm getting at is, when you have the notion that some people decide that I'm going to pursue something different, I'm going to pursue a path of progress and a path of maybe self-mastery, what happens is that it is very, very easy to get blinded by the idea that the grass is greener and that your life is going to be better at the other end of this goal. So for example, for me personally, I've been thinking about this, like, if I make this amount of money in my business, or I get to this sort of bench press weight or whatever, people maybe will validate me a bit more and people will respect me even more. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having that sort of thought. However, the big however here is that we oftentimes distract ourselves with some sort of personal development, some sort of goal in order to hide the real sort of, not insecurity I guess, but it's more like the feeling of wanting something. So whether that might be just having somebody like a friend supporting you, whether it be accountability, whether it be just a parent who's like open to have a discussion, that doesn't really matter. But what I've found for myself and for other people as well is that you don't necessarily do things all of the time in order to fulfill a desire for progress, but rather to fulfill the desire of a feeling that you haven't been able to express. And that can create a whole bunch of suffering, because for myself, like, I've found myself at times not being able to enjoy what I've had and what I've been going towards, just because I've been so caught up in the future. But if you begin living in the future, what happens is that you never experience the real realities of life, because life is right now and life will be experienced right now. And of course you can be content with your current reality, which I 100% am right now. And therefore, when you're maybe not progressing to the level that you feel like, for example, you're stagnating a bit in your studies, in the gym, or in your business, or you're lacking motivation, or you thought like, I like this person and they didn't like me back, or you feel like, oh, I didn't have the courage to maybe pursue my own path and hold frame in a scenario where it was challenged. Enjoy it. That's what I will say. Enjoy all of the ups and downs, because it is an emotional fucking roller coaster trying to figure these things out, especially as somebody who's on a journey of personal growth. And I'm making this video mostly for myself, basically, because I don't really know if I'm providing value with this video, but I am sort of expressing the ideas that I've been thinking about on my own. And now when I do put them into reality, I can also sort of implement it even more tangibly in my own life. And that helps a ton, being able to just express that. And so therefore, like, what I've found is basically this: being able to let go of some of that pressure, because even if you have much responsibilities, even if you have a job, even if you might have a family or whatever, think of it like this: you can either go down the path of stress and the path of being like, oh, I've got to do this thing. Or you can just smile at it and be like, there's nothing really that I need to do. Like, I will still be alive, I will still maybe have food on the plate and a shelter, hopefully, like, but there aren't many things which will take away that sort of initial feeling, so it's all self-induced in that regard. So what I guess I've got to improve upon as well is just basically smiling at the stupidity sometimes of like your own thoughts and of your mind. And that doesn't necessarily mean to undermine something when you feel it, but rather to decide to lead life a bit more, with a bit more play and with a bit more like just fulfillment, and not taking everything so bloody seriously. Like, for example, I'm gonna be fully transparent here, like, I was on a very, very good, like, I had good momentum, for example, in a project that I've been working on for myself, and that has sort of stagnated over the past like 10 days or whatever. And what has happened is basically like the progress went up and now it's stagnated. And what I can do now is I can basically take some time off and think, oh, this doesn't work. This isn't worth it. Or I'm hitting a hardship. But no. I decided to detach myself from the notion and the idea that this is bad or whatever. It's just a part of the loop. And if you genuinely think about it, if you genuinely try to contemplate this, I assume you're young, just like me, I'm 16. And when you genuinely grasp the idea that like in a couple of years from now I'm gonna be 20 and I know that time will fly by, the time will fly and that I'm just gonna be there, but at the same time, the time flies, but at the same time, if you put in the positive action, what will happen is that you will have created such immense exponential results that you will still feel comfortable because it was so easy. And this is a topic for another video, like time flies, but you can make something great of it. Think about that. You have this time, you feel like it's passing through like this, but if you just take, like, I took 20 minutes today to stare at my wall because I felt like I wasn't really present and I wasn't really enjoying what I had, and so therefore I just took like 20 minutes, stared at my wall, and I'm like, I'm fine as I am right now, and I was like, surrender to it in like a positive way, not in the notion where like, oh, I give up, but rather, no, this is fine. I'm here. Like, what's there to worry about? And of course, I'm saying this in a period of lower motivation, but that's the point, because you're not always going to have this sort of blissful, happy, enjoyable pursuit of becoming something, and it's never ever being difficult. You need both. You need the ups and downs in order to have the roller coaster, right? You can't just always be going up. That's what that has been my thoughts for today. I hope that you got some value out of this video, or yeah, that's basically all, and I hope you have a good one. See you.